launch. That you use this season to coach your kids towards success. You give them opportunities to make mistakes with you so that they can have a coach during this time. And the whole purpose of facilitating freedom is one day you're going to launch this arrow into the world so that they can make an impact for God in the world. And if you don't give them some freedom in the beginning, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle mightily. Now, here are the two things I got to say to finish. For many of us, as you hear this, you're like, oh, I wish someone would have said all this to me years ago. I could have done such a better job. Well, there's two places I see most parents right now. You're either doing helicopter parenting, where you're sort of hovering over your children, you're trying to give them some freedom, and the moment that they make a bad decision, you sort of hop in, you kind of strike down and make sure they understand what they're supposed to do, and you sort of fly back up, and they're always worried that you're going to come striking down on them. And what they end up doing is seeing God that way. They see God as this God who's not there with them until they do something wrong, and then he swoops back down. If we do that, if we do helicopter parenting, here's what's going to happen. Number one, our kids are never going to learn how to make decisions on their own. And number two, they're going to want to rebel, not only against you, but they're going to want to rebel against God. Now, here's the one I see is most popular right now, and it's what we'll call convenient parenting. It's so popular that we made sure that we came up with a little graph for you. Here's what happens. You give your kids maximum amount of freedom when they're in that 0 to 6 stage. And because you do that, and because you don't establish authority during that age, and you don't help develop responsibility during the next phase, what you end up having is a bunch of teenagers who you have to shrink their freedom down because they don't understand authority and they never had their responsibility developed. And because of that, now you're trying your best to shrink them down in the very moment where they're about to leave. And that is a huge problem for us. I mean, we make movies about this. Think about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Or if you're a little bit younger, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Pretty much the same exact story. A bunch of kids who had way too